Quiet on the set. Here we go. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hello, everybody. I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Welcome to Mondays with Myrt. It's Cyber Monday, and we're going to talk about some of the things genealogists might be interested in. And you notice our numbers are short today on the panel. We can hold up to 10 people in the film strip area. So if you would like to join the panel, use your mic and your webcam. Let Cousin Russ know in the unified chat. I think that Randy, he will invite you shortly. I don't know about that.
I did.
Oh, good show. All right, he's on his way in. So, Cousin Russ, you were a little bit busy this weekend. What were you doing?
Uh, it's after Thanksgiving, so put up some Christmas lights.
A few things for Christmas. Oh, it's a wonderland. I'm going to pull up your Facebook page if I can ever get to it, and talk to you, show everybody that. If you could get that link for me, that would help. Hillary, do you all start putting up your Christmas decorations? Well, you don't have Thanksgiving this time of year. They have Thanksgiving earlier up in Canada, but yeah, traditionally here in the United States, over the weekend after Thanksgiving, we start with our Christmas decorations. How about you?
I think people do start with their decorations. Some obviously it's difficult to know. Some people have got I've seen some trees and things.
Mm-hmm.
People are starting to gradually put their decorations up, but we don't have a particular weekend when everybody does it. So
well, I used to always be so jealous of people because we couldn't put up our tree till after my brother's birthday on the 17th of December. And then my Jewish friends, sometimes their Hanukkah would usually be before our Christmas, and they'd be assured of getting 8 presents, which I thought was kind of a cool thing. It really is all about family. Dave, what do you do up there in New England? I guess it's more of a holiday there because you're right there in the seat of the genesis of our nation.
Oh, absolutely.
And the survival of the Pilgrims. So
yeah, I mean, that was a brutal first year they had. That's no doubt about that.
oh.
Typical, a lot of folks decorate their houses, and there's enough of that in this neighborhood, so I don't have to do mine. But
Oh, you just are Scrooge.
yeah, yeah. But Karen has a lot of things she likes to put in the bay window, a little Christmas scene and a candle, and of course, we pick a tree way in advance and then go saw it down and bring it into the house. And lots of things that she puts around the house for the Christmas season. Oh, and she, with one of our grandchildren, they set up the creche on the hearth yesterday or the day before.
Oh, I like that. We happen to have a little manger scene that Mr. Myrt's mother made. She was into ceramics, and they're beautiful. All of them are white, kind of a creamy white. And that's a very special thing to set that up. And the first year of it, putting it up here in this home, little redheaded girl accidentally broke one of the pieces, and she was just so sad. And for the next 2 years, she was like traumatized when we put it out because she wouldn't touch it. And we keep telling her, it's okay, things happen. I was proud of Mr. Myrt, how he handled that with her. So Randy, what are the Christmas type things going on, the decorations for Hanukkah or anything in your neck of the woods, sunny California?
I don't know. I'm in the cave. I don't go outside much. I tore out a tumbleweed yesterday from the backyard.
Oh, it's a rough life. Yes.
It's a rough life. The neighbors put up lights. I stopped getting up on the roof about 10 years ago.
Good. Good.
Yeah, and so we haven't done lights recently, and we haven't had a tree recently. We usually go out of town. We usually go up to the Bay Area and see our daughter Lori in Santa Cruz, and then Linda's brother in Monterey. But we're not doing that this year. We'll probably go just to Tammy's house in Huntington Beach.
Fairly close.
And enjoy. It's only 100 miles.
Right.
And stay overnight in a motel and have Christmas Day and Christmas dinner with them, and then probably come home the next day. So,
well, cool.
you know, the genealogy ball has to keep rolling, and we're a little handicapped these days. So
I hear you. I know.
We have some tree decorations that are over a few that are over 100 years old. So there's a lot of genealogy hanging around from the Christmas tree.
A lot of
those,
genealogy.
Ours are in the rafters. Yeah, ours are in the rafters.
All right, I want you to see the front yard at Cousin Russ's house. These pictures are just phenomenal. I'll need to probably zoom in. Yeah, he did a little bit more than a few lights. In fact, I can imagine at night how cool this would be to see all these things. Oh, they're just beautiful.
That Christmas tree that is on the screen right now is a live tree, and it will be brought inside in a couple of weeks, and that'll be our indoor Christmas tree, and then it will go back outside and be planted.
Way cool. That's a green way to do it. Very fun. Okay. Oh, seeing the little minion in the window reminds me of something we're planning to do in the Organized Genealogy group over on Facebook. I suggested to my fellow administrators that we come up with some with 31 organizing ideas to share in the Organized Genealogist. Let me zoom in a little. You know, Cousin Russ and a few of us are co-administrators of the Organized Genealogist. So we are actually coming up with 31 days of, everybody's doing 52 weeks, 31 days to, you know, do-overs and all these things. Well, we're going to do 31 organizing ideas in the month of January when our trees will have been shut away. Shut away. I'm sounding a little more French or Spanish translating to English. All right, let's see what the community has to say, Cousin Russ.
Okay, June says, as soon as it comes in. I can't see it yet. I
got it.
See it yet.
There you go.
I still can't see it. According to the news, putting up holiday decorations extends your life and brings new friends. My daughter made the comment, it's also makes you happy. And I still can't see it. I just see your screen.
Okay. I have it on you. I'll unscreen share and see if that helps you. Okay.
There we go. Now I can see it.
Some days are like that.
Lisa says, growing up, we'd put up the tree after my brother's birthday on the 11th. My youngest sister has hers on the 23rd. There were always a tree up by then. And Deneen says, we put up our tree for my sister's birthday on the 14th, and we're the first in our neighborhood to light up in the 1950s. And Betty Lou says, my mom liked to put up the tree right after Thanksgiving, and it came down right after Christmas because the tree was not so pretty without presents under it.
Oh, I know. It's for a little kid too. It always seems a lot prettier with the presents.
Mr. West says my dad would put lights up in our apple tree. Some years they stayed there until July.
Oh, that's interesting.
Rachel says my mom always hated cleaning up the needles from the trees, so our tree went up Christmas Eve and came down Christmas Day. And Valerie says, this week I'm decorating with client reports, PowerPoint presentations, APG, tree.
I hear you. Come on, get with the program, Valerie. You're working too hard.
Anna says, I have to ask my mother when we decorated when I was a kid, but I'm sure it wasn't right after Thanksgiving. Now I wait until my birthday on the 10th. So a lot of birthdays in December, I guess.
It sure sounds like it.
Jenny says, my daughters all have the keepsake ornaments since they were babies. My oldest just moved out, and I gave her a box of ornaments for her first tree.
Okay, hold that thought. The hardest thing for me the first year I was away from home and married was that I didn't have any ornaments. You're used to looking at the old ornaments, like Dave is saying he had some 100 years old in his family. And of course, we had very little money. We got a Charlie Brown type Christmas tree, lopsided and very bare. And I could afford a roll of ribbons. So we had red ribbons on our tree. We didn't have lights. Yeah, so Jenny, that was a very sweet gift you gave to your daughter. Very cool. All right. A couple more and then we'll get on.
June says, great idea, posted, wait a minute, let it come back. Great idea, posted a tip today on when to schedule your backups and research. And Jenny says, we put up our tree the first week of December usually.
Usually, okay. And I gave up because of the falling needles, and we have artificial trees. And so then you can have more than one. Let me share my screen and remind you, we mostly are talking about Christmas, which is a Christian celebration, but you know me and Cousin Russ. We are excited to celebrate our family history, researching, encouraging each other, and documenting all these different cultural things that are traditions in your family. And so once again, I want to remind you that we support the International Decade for People of African Descent, and that when I was trying to make a collage of photos, I just realized just among our immediate friends, a couple of thousand friends, Cousin Russ, that we have here in the Dear Myrtle part of the Genia world, we have people from all different nationalities and all different walks of life, and we love it all, don't we?
Absolutely.
It's all good. Okay, so Dave, you've brought to our attention that there are a few DNA deals. Let's talk about the bargains for the season.
You must have missed most of the litany that's here. But anyway, where would you like to start?
Well, we know Ancestry DNA.
You know about the gifting of a kit? You can gift a kit.
Gift a kit.
I think if you scroll down that page a bit, there's another screen. Maybe not on that screen, but you can.
I saw it somewhere. Yes.
Yeah, and the trick here, and I don't know if I should admit that I'm advocating for this, but a friend of mine called me yesterday to tell me that he gifted himself a kit, and it'll kick in when the gift of the season. I don't know. Anyway, he gifted it to himself because his subscription is expiring at the end of December, and he was explained to him that his gift will kick in when his current subscription expires at the end of December.
Cool.
And it's a 50% off, or 99 to 49 or 59, whatever it is. And but on that 50%, there's a grid that it applies to 6 or 12-month subscriptions to US or to the world, but none of these specials, as usual, none of the specials applied to the all access subscriptions,
which is what we pay for.
Yeah, and which I get a little irritated at that, because we pay the most for everything, and yet we don't
have year after year.
We don't get
it's
the
same thing at the bank. I never get a free toaster. No, I have been going to that bank for a million years, and I need a free toaster. And well, I will tell you, I got an interesting toaster for my grandson of all people. It toasts on the dark side with the outline of Darth Vader. It does. I kid you not, Amazon had it. But anyway, all right, let's go on to the other DNA tests.
23andMe. I see you got that up there. It's $30 off their Ancestry only test, which is normally $99, and it's down to $69, and $100 off on 2 or more Ancestry plus Health kits.
Yep,
So
it's
there's a
pretty
little
darn
bit of a
cool.
hook there. Yeah, a little bit of a hook there, but nonetheless, it's still. I
That's a
did
great
this
deal.
many years ago, the health thing, and I still get an opportunity to answer. They need people to answer the surveys in order for them to keep their
Keep up
health
with it.
reports up to date. What do we
Yeah,
have now?
so
Family tree.
mm-hmm.
Oh, excuse me. Yeah, Family Tree DNA. Oh, they've got a whole host of kits here. The Family Finder, which is the autosomal test, is only $49.
Mm-hmm.
The Y tests, obviously, there's a range of this. The smallest one they do today is 37 markers, and that's
Yes.
down from 169 to 129. 67 is down to from 268 to 229, and 111 markers is 359 is down to 299. And I did these tests in steps over the years, starting in
Me too.
2008 or something. So I probably paid $1,000 for the 111.
They've really come down in prices over the years.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think we would not want you to necessarily do the autosomal at 20 or at Family Tree DNA, because can't you still take your raw data from Ancestry's test?
Yeah. The autosomal, I advise everybody to do that at Ancestry, and then you can upload it to GEDmatch and FTDNA and most of the rest. Not living DNA yet, but they're talking about doing that soon. And finally, with the Family Tree is mitochondrial. The small test is $89, but that's just the hypervariable 1 and 2. And then the full sequence, what do they call it?
Tell me you have a crib sheet and you can just rattle all this off. You know all this stuff.
No, it's an envelope. On the back of it's this is just a bill, so I don't need that. So I can write all over this thing.
I hear you.
The full MT was $199, it's down to $169.
All right. Well, I've tested that. I paid for my brother's test on the Y-DNA because I wasn't sure he would want to do it. I was so happy that he did. And I don't mind spending money on that because my Uncle Jack, who would be also on that Player, my maiden name Player, he is living, but he's not willing to do a test. It's a little weird, I guess. And I think it is still weird for people. Other than hog tying my Uncle Jack, I decided to test my brother. What about living DNA, Dave?
That's my new favorite, and they're normally $159 for just the DNA test, and they've got it reduced to $89. So that's a pretty good bargain, at least for me, considering I just paid $159 a couple of months ago, 3 months ago maybe.
Yeah.
And then the book that I received in the mail, soaking wet, is only $69. Yeah. No charge for dipping it in the water, though. I'm just kidding, because the post office messed up my book.
Baptized by the post office, it sounds like. Yeah. All right, so and the book is still $69. We talked about that last week, I think. Was it last week?
No, couldn't have been. I was occupied.
At the funeral. Yeah. Okay.
Let's see. The only one we didn't mention yet is Nat Geo. They've got this is the biggest discount. Their test is normally $199.95, and they've got it down to $69.95 for U.S. kits only.
Well, I managed to get this one.
Okay, there you go. That's it.
We've got two of them sitting behind me here. Mr. Myrt and I are going to be taking this. By the way, Mr. Myrt, could you come upstairs? Because I want you to help me show something that your sister made for us. Just come on in, hon, and I'll mute the video. Okay, so you've got your kit.
I wish I submitted this. I wish I wrote down the date, because it seems like it's been a couple of months or more, and I don't have the results yet. But
so we haven't opened our kits. Is it a swab or a spit?
Oh, I've done so many in the past couple of weeks. I think it was this was a spit test.
Oh, good.
Excuse me, saliva sample test.
Okay. All right. We'll be more whatever.
But I did get a couple of tests done over the Thanksgiving holiday with some family, and I just ordered 4 more Ancestry kits.
Yeah. Wow. I hope that Ancestry does a really big sale like they did at RootsTech last year, so that when you come to RootsTech this year, you'll get in on that deal as well. You might even, I think they're about $49 at RootsTech, because I bought 10, and I remember my thing was $490.
Yeah, and if you bring a big enough suitcase, you don't have to. There's no shipping charge, right?
Who needs clothes? I hear you.
Yeah,
Just one
okay.
change is all you need. All right, Russ has something from Jim who looked something up. Can you see that, Russ, or should I unscreen share?
I cannot see it.
Okay, so I will stop screen sharing so that you
Okay.
may.
Jim says current ancestry raw DNA is not uploadable to family tree DNA at this time.
At this time.
And Betty Lou has a question. Would it be better to test with more than one company or just upload your results to different places?
I can answer that. Blaine said it was perfectly fine to have tested at Ancestry and upload the results to FTDNA when that was possible. And thanks, Jim, for checking on that. I think what FTDNA is trying to do is deal with the fact that really the autosomal test is the gateway DNA test, isn't it, Cousin Russ?
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, Mr. Myrt has arrived. Before I go too much farther, let me just mention what happened the other day. There was a glitch Wednesday morning with Google and YouTube. And they said that we had recorded, which we did not, an inappropriate video, and they shut down not only my Dear Myrtle YouTube channel, but a number of YouTube channels, saying that we had recorded things that were against the terms of service. Well, we hadn't even hit the record, start broadcast button. We didn't record anything. We were only in the green room, and I could not go forward with our event. And what were we doing? Oh, yes. I'm still in vacation mode, Russ. What am I thinking about? We are going to be doing Chapter 11 of our GenDoc study group this coming Wednesday. We just move everything back a week and go from there. So right now we're using my Pat Richley-Erickson YouTube channel. That's why you're seeing my, this was a picture from our wedding day, hon. My sister Sharon took that picture. Hadn't yet made my appearance at the hadn't come down that long staircase. Anyway, okay, can you take this out and we'll show this next. Okay, got to take a second here. Yeah, pull that out quickly. And
while you're doing that, Randy reminds us, don't forget to upload to GEDmatch.
Okay.
And that's a good comment, because don't forget that GEDmatch lets any of the testing any users from different testing companies put it in one place, and then you're more likely to find a cousin in the GEDmatch website. There's a lot of great tools on that website.
That's GEDmatch is a great name for that, because it's basically working like the old GEDCOM for our data, but this time it's a DNA data to try to find your matches from whatever testing company they're using. That's a very simplistic way of putting it. Okay, I'm going to unscreen share so that you can see what Mr. Myrt is holding up. It's a new quilt. Let me move the camera. That would be nice, huh? Every year, Mr. Myrt's sister makes us ornaments, one for me and one for Mr. Myrt. This year, she made a quilt. Now, this quilt has his I'm going to get choked up, guys. His Nana's handkerchiefs. This is one where she had done extra. Pull that up higher, hun, so they can see it better. Extra crocheting in the corners. Each one of these white centerpieces is one of her handkerchiefs. Nana means his grandmother. And that's what we received from Mr. Myrt's sister. Here's one very like I have from great-grandmother Myrtle with the little rose imprint on the handkerchief. Really super cool. Thank you, hon. Okay, I'll try not to cry on it. I think it's kind of cool, the things that people are doing. Okay, so you have a link for traditions, but I want to talk first about, let me screen share. The great news coming out of the palace officially, Prince Harry is actually really and positively engaged to be married to his sweetheart. Luckily, I've already found my prince. Took Meghan a while. I'm really glad to hear about that. That's the big news from England, isn't it? Very cool. Thanks for that link. And let's see, let me get your next link. Hillary has a link that she shared. Oh, it's from the Telegraph. Lifestyle, food, and drink, top 10 Christmas traditions and their origins. So we get more of the history of it. Thanks for finding that link for us, Hillary. Okay, then we have the DNA test thingamabobs. All right, let me close all of these. There's the Christmas traditions again. Oh, I want to talk to you about what's happening over at genealogical.com. They're one of several leading genealogy book publishers in the United States. Hold this thought. Through midnight, well, a minute before midnight Eastern Standard Time today, they're offering 25% off on virtually all their books and CDs. You have to use the discount code, thanks17. So that's through tonight, a minute before midnight. Now,
Eastern.
Yeah, what did I say? Forgot to say Eastern again. Okay. This is the book I recommend you get because we're going to be using it next year in a different kind of study group. You know how normally on Wednesday mornings we have a genealogy study group. Right now we're working through Dr. Jones's book, Mastering Genealogical Documentation. But we're going to use the Researcher's Guide to American Genealogy, 4th edition by Val D. Greenwood. And we're going to flip it around. I hope to just control the camera, Cousin Russ. What we're going to do is have our panelists, and we always select panelists who are committed to being there for practically every session, realizing that things happen in our lives. We're going to have the panelists teach the chapter rather than old Myrt. Because it occurs to me that our panelists could so easily do this. They're very smart folks. Anyone that shows up, even newbies have shown up, Cousin Russ. New people to genealogy. And we've learned together. This year, or next year rather, we'll be doing the Researcher's Guide to American Genealogy. And it's rewritten from the ground up, every chapter, not just the technology chapter. And it was just announced recently. It's published here in 2017. It's for a paperback, $49.95, size 6x9. I thought it was a bit pricey. I would have set it for about $39, but that's me being opinionated. I want to contrast that with the older version. This first, second, and third edition all had this kind of a cover. It was a red hardback, kind of glossy. And we're not using that at all. Cousin Russ, remember when we did this in Second Life? I can't hear you.
Sure do.
It was very interesting because in that group we only met once a month, once a week, and they pretty much did a great job, have a team teaching a chapter. So yeah, look forward to that. But use your discount code to get this. And what was that discount code again?
Thanks 17.
Yep, for the year 2017. Thanks 17. So I would order it today. Mine's on its way. I will be giving one away in December for our game night. What have you got, Russ, from the community?
Valerie says, I ordered my copy of Val Greenwood's 4th edition, The Researcher's Guide to American Genealogy.
All right, well, I hope you get that good discount. It sounds like a plan. Okay. A couple more places I want you to go. Where did we see this, Cousin Russ? I guess it wasn't at the Roots Magic website. You know, I use Roots Magic. Cousin Russ, you use Family Tree Maker. Are they doing any specials over there?
No, but they just released a printed companion guide.
All right, let's find the link for that. I'll go over there and get it. So, and here's the 50% off Ancestry gift subscriptions and a special Roots Magic Tree Share webinar. Now, I did watch this webinar, and it was all about how to interface between Roots Magic. Okay, Cherie, you should be in our Hangout, not sending, not hanging out on Facebook. Wrong place, babe. That's okay. Anyway, I love to talk about Roots Magic because you get this tree share option with Ancestry. There's your 50% off gift subscription for membership to Ancestry. But it also interfaces for those of us who are LDS and want to clear names for temple work over at Family Search. I get hints from Find My Past, which sometimes finds things for me, Cousin Russ, on Family Search that I couldn't find through the Family Search algorithm. Try saying that 3 times fast. Anyway, and Find My Past, I love the hints. And that has been a very exciting thing for folks in my immediate neighborhood. We have kind of an eclectic group in our neighborhood where we have members of the LDS Church that come to us for assistance, but also people who are not members of the LDS Church. I kind of like that. All right. I would like to give you this link, Cousin Russ, Genealogy Bargains. Remember last summer when Thomas McKenty decided to spin off Genia Bloggers, because that was a lot of volunteer work he was doing. One of the things that the Genia Bloggers tribe, the new entity, agreed to do was to point people to his website, genealogybargains.com, for the ensuing 6 months. We want Thomas McKenty to keep doing his thing, finding great deals, etc. And he wanted us to be able to do the volunteer stuff that we like to do, supporting genealogy content providers. And so this is the link to Genealogy Bargains. If you go there now, I left this pop-up here. You can get some information about through his DNA buying guide. He does a lot of e-newsletter and things along that line. But he's explaining to you what the Cyber Monday deals are. And yes, he gets a cut. But he also spends a lot of time finding these deals for us. And I want him to continue to do that. So that's why I support Genealogy Bargains. It saves up money for ordering certificates. Yeah.
DNA kits.
Yep, that's for sure. Okay. All right. Somebody asked me privately on Facebook just now, am I ever going to get my Dear Myrtle channel back at YouTube? You betcha. I didn't do anything wrong. It was a technical glitch. Eventually, this recording will get moved over to my YouTube channel. And Cousin Russ, during this exact time, we're going to hit 800 videos recordings.
Wow.
So it's sometime, I have to look it up. I think it's about 5 hangouts away from us. So we're getting there. All right, let's see what we want to talk about. Oh, John, there's our guy, not in Edinburgh, Scotland. And he's wearing his red bow tie. It makes me so happy. And of course, we have our Hillary. It's really going to be a big deal, Hillary. Even though you're in Wales, you're part of the UK. It's a big deal when there's a royal wedding, isn't it?
Yeah, it usually means they sort of have a big coverage of it, and I think last time can't remember whether people had a day, there was an extra day off or something. It's you know, so people can go, but don't want to go, sort of thing. So it will be, but I don't know if it'll be quite as big thing as the last one, because obviously he's a bit lower down the order in terms of becoming on. I don't think he'll get to the throne, put it that way.
Yes, I hear you. Well, but it's a romantic thing to marry a prince, and for a prince to find his princess, and I think that people the world over really like the two princes because they're real people. They're not stuffy. They don't sit in their gilded cages. They go help people and are real. And so we're excited for that. I remember, of course, Diana's wedding. And the more recent wedding was just such a fairy tale, beautiful thing with the horse-drawn carriages and everything else. Way cool. We've got our Dave up in New England, and of course Randy. Randy, if you want to talk about something, let me know. We miss seeing you in the green room as usual, but put the link in and we'll go ahead and discuss it. All right, so we've talked about our Cyber Monday events and things along that line. What do you want to talk about genealogically speaking today? I would like to hear from you for a couple of reasons. First of all, we can't handle everybody's suggestion, but remember that Cousin Russ and I are still trying to figure out, aside from our study group, what it is we'll be doing, like on Wacky Wednesday. Remember, December's our last time with Blaine Bettinger for a while. We got to visit with him every month. And we'll see the archive lady in 2018. So what do you want to learn about from a genealogy education methodology, study an ethnic group, study websites, study some type of software, be it in the cloud or desktop-based? What things do you want to learn about in the coming year? And then we'll try to accommodate those suggestions. Luckily, with Business Hangouts, the things you type in the unified chat stay stuck with this video. And that is the advantage of watching the rebroadcast over here rather than on our YouTube channel. If YouTube, Cousin Russ, provided not only the chat but let it be stuck, I might stay with YouTube. Yeah, I don't know. All right, so give me a shout out. Let me know what you're interested in. Cousin Russ, what are your plans for 2018 as far as things you'd like to learn? Let's start the ball rolling.
Try to stay out of trouble.
Okay, you and Mr. Myrt are going to be in that category. Okay.
I think Randy's got a comment in our group chat.
Okay, so Randy, you're talking about a graphic, an image, photographic image you just found. Somebody shared it with you. Wow, I saw this. I think I saw it on Facebook. Let me share my screen so everybody can see it. I'm glad that this came into your possession. It's crumbling even as we speak, isn't it?
Well, I don't have it in my possession, no.
Okay.
It's a fellow who buys estate sale leftovers in Huntington, West Virginia.
Oh, I know where that is, yeah.
And so this photo had on the back of it the name Grandfather Cornelius Feather. Now, I have a great third or fourth, I can't remember, grandfather, Cornelius Feather, who died in 1853 in Mercer County, Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
And I've written about him before. We found his gravestone a couple months ago in a barn. I didn't, but someone else did. And they did exactly the same thing this guy did. They Googled the name. And of course, what pops up, but my blog, blogging works every time, it seems.
It does.
And so here's the photo. Yeah, here's his photo. And he sent a couple of other photos. He took a picture of them and just emailed them to me. And said, and the other photos were of Uncles Jim and Uncle John.
Mm-hmm.
with no last name.
Mm-hmm.
So I have a couple clues, right? So I wanted to
Mm-hmm.
figure out, well, who is the picture of? It's a young man, a relatively young man. He looks like he's in his 30s or so. And I don't know anything about clothing and dating photos and things like that. So I went to my database and I found, well, I have 3 Cornelius Feathers in my database. My 1853 death guy, who's 77 years old at the time, a Civil War soldier who dies in 1862, and a Cornelius, and so that's probably not him, and he died at age 18 or so.
Mm-hmm.
And a Cornelius A. Feather, who was born 1836 and dies 1873, all in Mercer County, Pennsylvania.
Which is pretty close. I mean, it's all that neck of the woods.
It's a couple hundred miles down to Huntington, West Virginia.
But that makes sense. It's a migration. I can see that it isn't like it's suddenly to Australia. No offense.
Yeah.
In fact, we have a few people from Australia here today, I noticed.
Okay. I searched on Ancestry for other Cornelius Feathers, and there was one in Virginia, and it wasn't the right time. You know, it wasn't.
It just didn't fit.
Me. And it looked like they stayed in Virginia. Now, West Virginia used to be Virginia, but okay, so. So I followed so how do you deal with this? Well, I didn't have descendants of Cornelius A. Feather in my database, so first thing I did was I went looking for them.
Yeah.
And it turns out he has 4 children, and they have children. They marry and have children. And what I found was that they're and those would be the grandchildren, the children of the children.
Right.
And then I went searching for John and Jim, the uncles, and one of the kids, Mary Feather, had a couple of children. Mary Phoebe Feather, and she didn't die till 1947. She married William Clark Coulter in 1889 and had 7 children. The first 4 were born in Nebraska, and then they came back to Mercer County, Pennsylvania. And so any one of those could be the one who had the photo. And she had a sister, Lily, who married Frederick Leander Straight in 1893 and had 4 children in Mercer County, Pennsylvania. 2 of Lily's children were a John and a James.
So they could be, they didn't have to be Coulters.
No. Remember,
I mean, Feathers. They didn't have to be Feathers. They could be, could be Straights or not, or we don't know.
Yeah, right. And so perhaps those are the uncles. There's other relationships that might apply here. William Coulter, the husband of Mary Feather, might have had brothers named James and John, or grandchildren who had, through that line. But the key to the puzzle is, I think, the death record for George William Coulter, born 1892, died 1952, the son of William Clark and Mary Phoebe Coulter. And he died in Huntington, West Virginia. 1952. Okay. And he was in Cabell County records, residing there from 1930 on. And he married Christine Rowan, who died in 1981, and they had 3 children before 1930. And Christine died in Huntington, West Virginia in 1981. So it may be that the estate records that the fellow collected were for one of the daughters or for Christine herself that had been in somebody's attic for a long time.
Yeah.
Don't know, but I'm pretty sure that this is the photo for Cornelius A. Feather, who died at age 37 in 1873. I'm sure someone might, like the photo.
Yeah.
He was willing to give it away or sell it. He's probably a salesman. But it was fun to do this, and it enhanced my descendants research for the Feather family, and so it's a win-win.
Well, I think this is cool. first of all, you blog. So this fellow obviously Googled you, Randy, and Googled the Seaver surname and found you a person to communicate with. Bill West would tell you, job well done. You're getting the word out. Secondly, I want to applaud your thought process in looking at several generations and trying to figure out who the Uncle John and Uncle Jim could possibly be, and not confining it to the Feather surname. Good thinking here. This is the fun part of family history, is deciphering all this. It's the Nancy Drew Hardy Boys mystery unfolding kind of a thing. Way to go. Interesting find. I was pretty excited when I saw this blog post. I was looking at it on my phone, so I didn't read all the text, but I'm always happy when somebody reaches out to try to get a photo back to the original family. Way to go. All righty. All right. I think we're starting to get some hangout suggestions from people. Do you want to bring those back in, Cousin Russ, and we'll see how that goes?
Okay, if I could, when I see it, I'll be able to read it.
Okay.
I don't know what's going on. Okay, Kathy says, first year we were married. Oh, this is the Christmas thing. Sorry.
Homemade ornaments.
Just hold on a second.
Okay. There we go. You're having it's one of those mornings, but at least we can hang out.
I can't bring comments in. Oh, it's on your screen, but I can't see it.
Now I can only bring it on me. Okay, good.
All right. Maria says, for us newbies, what is the different types of genealogical certifications, and are there good, better, and best types of certifications?
Okay. And that's a good suggestion. I'm making a list, checking it twice, Cousin Russ. Okay.
Pat says, dating photos from fashion would be a great topic. I went to a lecture in Surrey History Center, UK on this topic many years ago.
Maybe we could ask Maureen Taylor to come visit.
Yep.
The photo detective. Because we haven't, I talk to her all the time, but let me put that down and see if she'll come visit us.
Maria said, a friend told me that you can get certified for different geographical or language research. I think that is how she phrased it.
Okay.
And Betty Lou says, I have an old photo album from the 1880s and have lots of uncles in it. And
it really helps, Betty Lou, if somebody says the full name. It could be called Uncle John or Uncle Jim, but give the full name and maybe the year he was born. You know these things, and that will preserve it.
Marion says there are specialties within BCG certifications, genealogy.
Oh, yeah.
Genealogist, record researcher, lecturer, and possibly others. And Robin says, how about a class on digital photos, scanned or other, clear them up, adding captions?
Okay, that's a good idea. Maria is my neighbor, and she and I are the Ward Temple and Family History consultants, and we just love working together. And the people in our area are just so jazzed about doing family history research. Okay, any more suggestions?
Marion says there are also specialties within ICAP Gen certifications that are more locally or locality and probably language based. They make sense. As a U.S. researcher should probably not claim to be certified in German.
Well, of course, we've got the example of Jutta, who lived there and now lives here, and she does German translations, although I don't think she's either certified or accredited. But yes, that's a good topic for us to discuss.
Apparently, this is from Jim. He says, I tried to call Ancestry to check if they were ever going to fix my problem with my blank pages of DNA circles. They have been blank white pages for almost 5 months now.
Oh,
Today
good.
they say they do not have time to talk to anyone, period.
All right, so Jim, was that a recording or a person that said, we do not have time to talk to anyone, period? That is very, very poor. I would like to know the difference.
Betty
And I
Lou
will
says,
talk to him.
Betty Lou says I had to figure out many of my full name and still have a couple more not sure of.
Not sure of them.
And Jim says a recording.
Okay, it was a recording. So the recording said that they were, their call, they didn't quite put it as angrily as that. They couldn't have possibly. They probably said we're experiencing an unusually high call volume. I hear you. Very, very frustrating though when you're not in the queue. I get it. Okay, so far, do you want to talk about the certification things today? I'd really rather wait until we can get Sue Adams. Is she here? I wish that they would alphabetize our viewer list so I can see if she is. The reason I want Sue Adams here is that she can speak more about the registered genealogists over in the UK. And she can also speak about the Strathclyde educational opportunities, which are assuming you already have at least a bachelor's, perhaps a master's is already also required before you can take those advanced classes. Yeah, let's wait on that. And we'll have a series on that where I've got experts, not just old Myrt's opinion, although I do plan to be opinionated. Okay, so let's keep coming up with those suggestions. Jim is saying more DNA support. This is going to be the way of it, Jim.
No, he said hit DNA support.
Yeah, I'm putting it on the list. Okay, and how to deal with that.
But I thought that was getting rid of the problem he has with circles.
Yes, I understand.
Okay.
And DNA is kind of tricky because I can't just go demonstrate it since we are complying with the guideline to protect the identity of our matches when we're having our broadcasts. Same thing if I were a genealogy presenter. Okay, I want to bring this comment in from Molly, if you would, please. I want to talk about what's happening with our computers.
Molly says, I can't get to Ancestry DNA through Google. I have to use Edge or something else.
Okay, leave that up there, Russ. What's your first reaction to this, Russ? You and I are pretty opinionated and of the same opinion here.
I don't know why you can't get a hold of Ancestry DNA through Google. Edge, I can understand. And by the way, Firefox just has a new release. So if you use Firefox, they just changed their brand, becoming a little bit more like Google Chrome. It's called, it just went out of my mind.
All right, let me pull up Firefox.
But they just, Optimum, I think is its name.
Quantum,
right.
All right, well, I'm still seeing it as Firefox.
But if you have the new update, it'll say Quantum, and
oh yeah, Meet Quantum, Firefox yep. Quantum.
Now
they had that.
The good news here is, and do not jump to this. The good news is that in the very near future, Firefox Quantum will be able to come into Hangouts on Air. Mm-hmm. For a long time, we had to swap from Firefox to Chrome because they could not use the app that we use in Chrome. Mm-hmm. The Quantum version has it. I did a test last night. It works most of the time. There were some things that didn't play well, but there'll be. It's supposed to be a better Firefox and have the tools that we have in Chrome.
All right, so here's my reaction to Molly's question. And I know that she's on a Windows computer. don't I? I think I know that. I don't know which version of Windows. The number one reason we experience difficulty with our computers, the mouse doesn't seem to work, we're typing, no letters come up, can't get there from here, like Molly's talking about, is either the web browser you're using, and I do not recommend Internet Explorer, and I do not recommend Edge. I read all the ZDNet and other professional technical things. Half it's over my head, but there's still security issues. IE isn't even being supported, guys. The number one reason is update. The number one reason that you're having trouble with your computer is in the Windows environment is either Windows is not updated correctly or fully, or the browser itself needs an update. So when I have trouble, the first thing I do, and I don't know if I can, let me switch. Okay, close your eyes for a minute, Cousin Russ. I'll stop screen share and we'll go to my main screen. Screen share.
There are several people have been saying that they're in Chrome and able to get to Ancestry DNA.
Okay, weird. Okay, well, let's finish with the first thought of keeping things up to date. Okay, here we are on my main desktop. This is where I usually have my Hangout screen. The one I've got a left and a right monitor and this one in the middle. When I go to all settings and I'm in a Windows 10 environment, here's update and security. I'm going to click that option and I cannot zoom in. But there's an option here under Windows Update to check for updates. And it did say that it was updated as of 9:24 a.m. today. There is an upload, or an update available to remove malicious software from Windows 8, 8.1, 10, and various Windows Server versions. And it's probably going to slow down my computer now that I've clicked on it.
While you're there, the most important option on that screen is View History, and I think you just clicked on it.
Yep.
If your computer is acting weird,
yeah,
and that's anything on your computer acting weird, use the View History, and what you're looking for is any failed update that hadn't been fixed later, and the most recent is the top. So if you scroll down, look to see if you have a failed update. If you have a failed update and it did not successfully update later, in other words, higher on the screen, and the clue is the KB number to the right end of the
right
update.
here.
If you have a failed, you gotta fix that because you don't know what how it's impacting. My experience is if I have a failed, my computer is not playing nice.
Yeah, and I've heard people say, this is why I'm never going to update to Windows 10. Well, Windows 8, Windows 8.1, Windows 7, they all have their issues. I don't know why this is. It's just the way the life goes, guys. This is just what it is. We can't argue with it. We're telling you how to get around it. It's a technical thing. So if your Roots Magic isn't working perfectly, or your Family Tree Maker, or your Legacy, or whatever, and it's not acting like you're anticipating it should have been acting, how's that for a weird sentence? Check that the Windows environment itself is working. Then reboot your computer. When I've had to do, I've only once come here and seen something did not successfully install. But that's the first thing I check. Okay. The second thing I check, let's go to Chrome and pull up a new window here. Of course, it went on the other screen. Here's my Chrome browser. That's the one I tend to use, although I like Firefox, but haven't used it, Russ, lately, because I'm in Hangouts all the time. Where do I go? Here's the little drop-down menu, and we go to
3 vertical dots.
Yep. We go to Help, About Chrome, About Google Chrome. and it says it's up to date. Now, I recently, when I was reporting the issue that I had last Wednesday when I couldn't, there was no start broadcast button, when I reported it to Google and to Business Hangouts, I told them exactly what version of Chrome I was using and exactly what build of Windows. This is just normal stuff to check to see if your computer's working okay. If it's not working okay, check these two areas. If it were not up to date, I would be able to click and there'd be something else on the screen I could click to get the update. And then if the computer did not prompt me to reboot, I would anyway. Yeah. Okay, so there may be, the last possibility is there could be a browser incompatibility with Ancestry DNA, but I doubt it. I doubt it.
There was a number of people saying they were successful with Chrome.
Yeah. Okay. Because the reason I doubt it is that, you know, they've got a whole department that works on browser compatibility over at Ancestry. You got to know that because they want everyone to be able to get through to their website without issue. And so they work on that. And yeah, okay, let me try to rearrange all my things again.
Molly says, I use Windows 10 and Chrome and have tried to use Ancestry app. Nothing works.
Okay, so you got to reboot your computer after having done the two things we just showed you. Luckily, we get to look at the recording of this later and do each one following the steps that I've given you. You can follow right along. Randy, you wanted to say something, dear?
Yeah, about a month ago, I was having with Roots Magic. I mean, it just would stop working, and I still have type ahead problems when I'm used to going right into it, clicking on the name list and start typing a name, and now I have to wait, you know. But anyway, so the freezing problems. So I went and into Roots Magic Help and looked for suggestions. I went through all the data update things and whatever in the file link, and then in the file options and program options, I reset everything. I went back to the factory settings and then reset them to what I wanted, colors and things like
this. Roots Magic,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, and that seemed to work. That seemed to speed things up, and I didn't have freezing problems. I'm starting to have them again, so I'm going to go do it again. I've been adding, you know, a couple hundred people a month and 1,000 sources a month and things like that, and it's, you know, it just overloads it. I think I'm up.
What
to
are you? What you're on Windows 8.1 or are you on Windows 7?
I'm on 7.
Yeah. All right. Well,
old computer.
That's good feedback to give. Good feedback to give Bruce so that he knows. I think he has. I think the Roots Magic Magician has been in the building today. Somebody else sent me. I'm getting text messages, Russ, on my Facebook page. Good thing I can multitask.
John's got a comment about Find My Past.
All right. Well, let me finish this thought before it leaves my brain here. This is in the Cyber Monday things. There's a 4-day pass at Roots Tech for $169. Here's the registration link. Let me get that for you. Cyber Monday sale. Here you go, Russ. You want to share that link with everybody? You have to use a promotional code CYBER18, CYBER18, in order to get that deal. I do not need to register again, but Mr. Myrt, that's going to probably be the best deal. Dave, you lucked out. You got a pass. All works
Yes,
out.
I did.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
John, it's your turn. He's having to walk. Oh. John, I'm proud of you walking unaided. You want to unmute your inline mic, dear?
Cannot hear you, John. Check your settings at the top.
He's having a fun day. Okay. Still can't hear you. Once you get it working, are you in Windows 7? Windows 8? He's on Windows 10. I'm getting good at reading lips. I can read your lips. Read my lips. Okay. All right. Cousin Russ, we've talked about best practices for keeping our web browser and our Windows updated. I want you to tell me why, in addition to using Dropbox, you talked me into using Backblaze.
Well, I think it's part of our responsibility to make sure that our data is backed up. Anything we have on our computer is backed up, and I like Backblaze, and I think I talked to them several times at the various Roots Tech exhibits because they're a big contributor to that Roots Tech. And a couple of things that are minor in detail when you think about backing up online or have a cloud backup, do they back up video files? Because some cloud storage will not back up video files.
And we have videos of our interviews and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing that I like about Backblaze is that it also backs up my external drives that are connected to my computer. So not only does it back up my computer, but also my external drives. And I go one step further, and that is once a month, I will go pick a couple of files and make sure that I can restore from the backup that Backblaze has. And they have an app. Backblaze has an app, so you can put it on, bring a file up on your smartphone. I don't do that, but I know that it's available if I need to. So,
cool.
But that's...
Well, I didn't have Backblaze for a long time, and I didn't have any problems. All my data, not the programs. Programs are on my hard drive. There's a folder for Dropbox, and all my data is in that folder in its various subfolders. I just went to Dropbox and noticed something interesting that I didn't notice before. Remember I had pulled up that graphic of ethnicity?
Yep.
It remembers what I've done recently. I previously had clicked to have my desktop show the Mondays with Myrt graphic. And then on Sunday, I printed out this. Invite your ancestors. Oh my gosh, it's really zoomed in. Let's see if we can unzoom in. Invite your ancestors for Christmas. This was a handout we gave for our Sunday school class with an idea for making a game. The game of concentration where you got two things that you have to match and you try to guess where they are. And I showed my friends in class about that. But anyway, Dropbox is remembering that. Dropbox also lets me share things. So I'm going to click on that Invite Your Ancestors docx file, and I'll share it with you as soon as it comes in. Why is it giving me a hard time? Great, Dropbox. One time I spotlight you. Let's try it again. We'll click the share button. There we go. So we're going to let people view it. We'll create the link. It's because I was on the wrong thing. Okay, we'll copy the link. All right, let me give this to you, Cousin Russ, so you can share it with the members of the community. And then they can open up that image or that Word document. I'll pull it up. And good. All right, let's zoom out. I don't know why it's slightly askew. because the graphic is slightly off the page. I'm not sure why that is. But that's how Dropbox works. And Roger Moffat, I don't know if he's here this morning, he reminded me of something. Did you hear what happened to Judy Russell when she had to do a hangout or webinar and the train was late, Russ? What happened to her?
Somebody, in fact, I think it was Roger himself, was able to give her presentation because everything was in Dropbox. So it's a good tool. And I know that Dave, our Dave,
it's come to my rescue. Come to my
tell
rescue
me about Dropbox and how it's come to your rescue.
And how do you use it?
Yeah.
Well, in at least two. Matter of fact, I think Maureen Taylor was one, and I can't think of a couple of the others right off the top of my head. But with some of the problems that we had at the senior center, I just simply opened up the presenter's PowerPoint through a Dropbox account.
Mm-hmm.
They would share with me their file, and I would open it up and get it started. And all they had to do was say next, 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 and we slogged our way through it just fine. It was wonderful. It was great. It saved me some panic, that's for sure.
It totally. In Judy's case, the train was late. She was going to her brother's in Virginia, and she got off the train and into her brother's car with 10 minutes to go before her hangout started. Her webinar, I think it was, and it worked.
She was in her car. Roger was doing the mouse clicking.
I think Roger was also mouse clicking for me once. We had tested like we always do, Cousin Russ, you know. And in fact, we hooked up the hour beforehand and had the connection. And then I lost internet. This was when I lived in my house in the ranches at Eagle Mountain, where we started having a whiteout blizzard. I could not do the line of sight between my house and the distribution point for my internet. It was pretty upsetting.
Dave, don't you also share if you're giving a presentation, don't you share some of your handouts using Dropbox?
No, on our website behind the paywall.
Oh, okay.
In a members only area.
But no, that would work.
Oh, sure. Oh, absolutely it would, yeah.
I've done a thing where I've shared the, they may print the handout and distribute it at the seminar, like when we did Amesbury Public Library, Russ. And I shared the link to the PDF file in my Dropbox, so then all the links were clickable. People didn't have to be perfect typists, so that's another reason to use Dropbox.
I can share with you a very personal use of Dropbox. Due to my brother-in-law died a week or so ago. One of his daughters' 45-minute picture collage with music, and I mean, it was just absolutely. I mean, everybody in the room was in tears, but she didn't burn a CD. And I just said, I'll create the family name is Lily, so I created a Lily Pics Dropbox folder where everybody could put, pictures of Ray and Diane and so forth, my sister and brother-in-law. And Christine just this morning put the video up on Dropbox, and I'm getting inundated with, oh, this is wonderful, thank you. I mean, people are very, very, very appreciative. I have 20 members of it for all the family members, but I mean, there's that's a pretty, well, not that creative, but it's a creative use of Dropbox and made it convenient for everybody.
Dropbox is a great tool. If you have a large file that your email won't handle, put it in Dropbox and send the email with the link to Dropbox, and you got some settings. So if you have a large file, like a genealogy program file, which may be very large, and like a backup that's got images in it, and it's too large for email, do it in Dropbox.
I hear you. All right, so Jenny has had an experience with Dropbox. Let's see how that works.
I went to give a presentation, and the file on my laptop went wonky. Luckily, I had a copy on Dropbox, and I downloaded the new file and was ready to go.
All right, so here's the thing. This is cloud technology at its finest, folks. Dropbox is there is a copy of the document on your hard drive, and when you have Dropbox activated, which I disable it normally when I'm in a Hangout because I want to increase my bandwidth for the recording, but it's on all the time. So as soon as I save a file, then Dropbox syncs a copy up to the cloud. And in the case of Roger, when I spoke for his, I was going to say Western Massachusetts, but I think he's Western Michigan, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, I gave him, I couldn't even send him the link. I gave him my username and password over the cell phone because I had no internet in that case. And he was able to open the file. I told him what folder it was in. He found it. And I spoke via cell phone to cell phone, which he held up to the microphone in the meeting room. We had to go to plan 22Q, I think, to get that one going.
Just a comment, and you said it a second ago. One of the things, if you're going to use Dropbox, you're from home and you're having your presentation in Dropbox and you're going to the site and give it a presentation, before you leave, make sure your Dropbox folder is up to date. And when you get to the new location, make sure that it's updated again. One of the things I have learned a couple of times, if I don't turn on my laptop for a couple of days before the day before I go on someplace, I make sure that Dropbox is synced because it has to be synced. My laptop is normally turned off. It's in my backpack, but the day before I am going to go someplace, I fire it up, make sure that the updates are there, but also make sure that Dropbox is current.
All of my Dropbox folders are in my File Explorer on the left side of the screen, and I don't remember why or how I did that, but all of the folders I have at Dropbox are right here, so I don't really have to open up a browser and go to my Dropbox account. I can drag and drop stuff right over here into my, I think that's what you call it on the left side, the File Explorer. It's incredibly convenient.
Well, that's the copy that's on your computer, but there's a copy in the cloud, and there's a copy with whoever you shared it with.
Yep.
Yeah, I drop it there, and it syncs with the cloud when the laptop's on.
And it worked well this way, Cousin Russ. Remember when Mr. Myrt and I lived on opposite ends of the country, practically, and I had my desktop computer at my home in Eagle Mountain, and then I would go to his house where he bought me a desktop computer. All I had to do was turn on that computer and walk away and let Dropbox get all the updated Roots Magic files, the new documents I downloaded from Find My Past, and everything that I had attached. It all came through just perfectly, but I had to just give it a little time to do it. Okay, good. All right. Any more suggestions?
Yeah, I got a comment from Rachel.
Okay, good. Let me unscreen share to see if it'll come up. Good.
Rachel says, I use Dropbox to collaborate and share documents back and forth with others.
Let me stop there. That's how we do the practicum at Salt Lake Institute. I do document fulfillment for the Advanced Evidence Analysis practicum. And I can either share a folder with multiple documents, like multiple pages of a land record, or multiple pages of a Union Civil War pension file, or I can share the link to an individual document like a one-page will or marriage record. And so when the researchers would say, do you have this? And they'd specify location and date and event and the particulars, then I could just give them the link. And like Cousin Russ says, those files get too big for email real quickly. So having the link to the item in Dropbox makes it work. Okay, Russ.
Valerie says, I've had Backblaze since January 2015. Loved it. Saved me when my computer crashed. The Dropbox saved me when I go to my satellite office, Techie Son's house in Kansas, where I can work. And then she says, just transferred some of the files I got from him on to my laptop, moved into Dropbox, and now have it on my main desktop computer.
Yes, that ability to update between your desktop and your laptop is good. You just want to be sure you don't have your Family Tree Maker file or your Legacy Family Tree or your Reunions, whatever genealogy software program you have, you don't want to have that file still open on your desktop when you're updating your laptop, or you'll get a conflicted file. I was wondering if I had conflicting evidence, Cousin Russ. All right. You got something else from the community?
I'm good.
Okay, we're good. All right. All right. This is the last chance today. I want to hear some more ideas of what you'd like to talk about next year. What did we do this past year? We had German genealogy for a couple of sessions with Ursula Krause. I can say it exactly the way she sent me an audio file so I could pronounce her name correctly, Russ. She's in Germany. She taught us some of the tips and tricks for doing research in genealogy or in Germany and also online at German websites. We had Liv here. She lives in Norway, and we had 2 sessions with her on Norwegian research. So pretty cool. We've done quite a bit, and they're all archived. Where, Cousin Russ? I'll pull that up.
And hangouts.dearmyrtle.com archives by subject.
Yeah, let's bring that up.
I have an idea.
Yes.
I don't know, and it just popped into my head, so I haven't expanded on the thoughts at all yet. But
yes, I got my pen.
Pretty quick. There are certainly there's millions of Mayflower descendants, and I don't know if that makes any sense to try to help out some of these folks attempting to get involved with a Mayflower legacy society.
Okay, so we could.
It's just a thought.
Yeah, we could do a 2-part series on Mayflower and talk about the 5-generation books.
The silver books and Miriam Pierre. I'm trying to think of it. No,
Heather.
Oh, for God's sakes, I can't think
of it.
Heather Rojo. Yep, and there's a few others up here in this area that I know who are affiliated with the Mayflower Society.
Okay, we're kind of being U.S. centric this year, aren't we? We've got to work on something. John shaking his head, yes. I'm not sure I like it that you're silenced, John. Sometimes I tease you, but I really miss your voice. I'm just really glad you're getting around a little bit more from time to time, and I was so happy to have read that. I know that you're even that you even survived terrible things happen to you this summer. We're glad. Okay, let's see what else we're getting from the community. This really is helping me a lot, Cousin Russ, because this weighs heavily on me in November and December, figuring out the schedule.
Valerie says, how to determine family if you have a DNA link but no paper trail, as in non-paternal event.
Misattributed parentage. Okay, so we might ask Blaine to come back just for a onesie. He just is so generous with his time with us. And by the way, coming up in our, let me just screen share for a second here. We are doing another recorded hangout with him because we finished the book. We did a Q&A last month, and we're going to be doing a DNA, where is it? Oh, it's because it's the end of the month. I've been already coding the hangouts for next month. We're going to have another Q&A, open Q&A session. So we might talk a little bit more about that. Also, his book, Genetic Genealogy in Practice, shows you how to diagram that. So that's kind of interesting. Yeah, Canadian research. Who would we like to get for Canadian? Because we got 2 kinds. We've got the English and the French.
Catherine.
Oh, yeah. Catherine Hogan. Okay, let me put that down on the list. Okay, Canadian. Oh,
Maybe Gail Deaver too.
I
Gail's in
know.
Montreal.
I know it's really hard not to. I mean, there's so many good ones there. Okay, good. So now I've got 7.
Melinda says, share some of your NARA knowledge and skills.
Okay.
Anna says, Swedish research.
9. Swedish. Mr. Myrt would like that since he's like also 50% Swedish.
Valerie, the other Valerie says, I love the Q&A. I really like the DNA painter. So.
Yeah.
And Lee says, French-Canadian immigrants with DIT names and or French to English name changes.
Okay, I'll put that as part of number 7, Canadian, French, English. Okay, and then the DIT names changing. Okay, got it. Anything else?
Valerie, the other Valerie,
like
Catherine Lake Hogan and Christine Woodcock.
Oh yeah,
for
Christine.
Canadian.
Well, and I think of Christine as Scottish, since she takes people on trips to Scotland. I just love that gal. All right. Anything else? We're doing well. Polly Kimmett. Polly Kimmett for Mayflower. Polly. Let me put that down. Did you read how she's had a breakthrough with her DNA and now has a cousin? Might even be a niece.
I haven't. What she was putting up on Facebook, probably.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Haven't. No, I missed that.
All right. All right. Well, let's talk about just a couple of. Let me show you how we use Trello. Second Life.
Valerie says a tour of genealogy Second Life site.
Yeah, I just got through decorating it with poinsettias. Okay, I'm putting Second Life on the list. Okay. That's another way to sit around and chat about our favorite subject. Okay. We use Trello. We make a separate card for each event. Here it is for Mondays with Myrt. Normally, I put the links that I want to discuss. Today I didn't because I was playing hooky all weekend, playing with the little redheaded girl, Cousin Russ. And but we've come up with some interesting topics today. That's where I can pull up that ethnicity graphic rather quick, like whenever necessary. So you can add images. This is the link to the Genia webinars calendar. I suggest that you use that. Dear Myrtle does have her own. Let's talk about the Facebook group. Cousin Russ, we vet who comes into our Facebook group. This isn't a 50,000 likes thing, is it? Why?
Control who's there.
We have absolute power. We do it so that we can keep our topics on subject. And it's what we find, you and I find, Cousin Russ, to share. And what about the Google Plus community? We also keep spammers out, don't we?
Absolutely. I'm going to put a link into the Unified chat right now so that after the recording is done for today, the link that I just put in the Unified chat is where the conversation will continue.
Mm-hmm. All right, this is your community over on Google Plus, and I know you pretty well, cousin. We are really cousins from way back.
Several times.
Yeah, several generations back on several lines. This is where where you answer the questions about Family Tree Maker, and it's. These are the people that really want to know. They don't want to complain about the program. They want to figure out how to use it, right?
That's correct. They'll ask questions here or any place. It's just a place where people can ask questions about anything genealogy, but specifically Family Tree Maker.
Okay, thanks for what you do over there. Yep, here is our Mondays with Myrt. Continue our conversation here. Do like it, that it does improve ranking and makes it easier for other people to find out about it, but you cannot comment in either of our Google Plus communities unless you're a member. Before we go, let's talk about tweaking our profile, Cousin Russ. We haven't done that for a while.
Very good question.
Here's my profile. Mount Rainier in the background. Can you tell that I'm into genealogy just by landing on my profile page, Russ?
Absolutely.
Yep, that's the first word there. We want to see family history or genealogy in your profile. This is where you click to edit a profile button. In fact, I will do that.
There's a view to view your profile as the editor and how the public views it. There's two different views.
Yep, we're viewing it from my point of view. So when you look at the communities that old Myrt or Pat Richley-Erickson, I have to be that person now again for a while, till Google gets things in order. Okay, there's June Summer Adventure, German Genealogy, Forgotten Stories, Cousin Russ, Hangout Helper. So some of them have to do with Hangouts and video creation, but there's in-depth genealogists, DNA genealogy. You pretty much can tell from the groups that I belong to that I'm into family history research. Okay, boy, that got a little garbled, whatever that is. And so if, Cousin Russ, if I were applying to join your group, your community over on Google+, if you saw this profile, would you take me?
I would.
Okay, because we seem to have the same interests. That's what we
the other thing is, I don't care who you follow. I don't look. I don't care, because the person you're following doesn't control that. You control who you follow. So I look at that byline that you have there. I know immediately that you're part of it, but then I'll click about, and whatever in the about section is what the next thing that I'm going to look at, and it's very clear that you've done some work and we have something in common. And that's what I do to people that are joining my community.
Well, yeah, that's really important.
Yep.
Yeah, I clicked about, and because it's me, I have the ability to change my contact information, my birthday, tagline, which was where you saw that word genealogist right after my name. What I contribute to, custom URLs. I should probably add the new link to my new blog. Let's go remember I decided to go over to WordPress. And when we did an experiment, it didn't work very well. Some of my links didn't come over correctly from Blogger. So I need to pull up Myrt's Musings. That's my new blog. I still video blog more than anything. Okay, I'm pulling it up. It's wanting me to log in. I love it. Okay, and we'll go view the site. Okay, so this is my new blog, Myrt's Musings. I asked if I could use musings. I asked Randy, didn't I, Randy? He didn't have a copyright on the word musing. But I think it's mutually edifying. And I just like some of the options that I had at WordPress. And that was my goal this fall, to learn how to use WordPress. So we've provided graphic links to some of our most popular study group series. There's that one on British Irish military records. The blog itself is right here. The recent posts show up on the side. And you'll be seeing very shortly the links to register for December Hangouts. All right, so I'm going to go get this URL. I knew what it was, but it's always easier. Let me go find the About Me page, and we're going to add a new link. There's the plus sign, and we'll call it Myrt's Musings. I'm going to put in parentheses blog. And I can't spell musings. You'll have to help me there, Randy. And here's the URL. And we'll click OK. Okay, so now I've got 3 links that I'm sharing. This is the link to that YouTube channel. I didn't know it was going to have a link to my Picasso web album. And Google Reader's been dead for so long, I don't know what to think. And these are some of my Blogger blog links. I did not put them there. Google did. But I'm not going to complain. I'm happy. That's how you update your Google profile. Facebook is similar. Let's go to Pat and edit profile. Comforts of home. Okay, genealogy is the first word there, Cousin Russ. So apparently I did it correctly. Details you select will be public. So there is Myrt's Musing. I have already updated it. Went to Churchill High School, attended, married to Mr. Myrt, joined Facebook. Yeah, I could add more. I'm followed. I didn't know people were following me here. You can have followers on Facebook plus members of your community.
Yep.
Okay, and but those are not my friends. They're just followers. Okay, I don't know everything about all this stuff. Just exploring. So make sure your profile mentions genealogy. Let's go look at Twitter and see what that looks like. We're looking at Dear Myrtle's profile. That's my page, but we'll actually go look at it. Here's the edit profile button. But clearly, you see the branding, Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy, the little line art graphic. I've zoomed way in so it's slightly pixelated. Powerful genealogy. I use the hashtag genealogy. So it's only the second word, Russ. Powerful genealogy breakthroughs happen in our video hangouts. Come on over. Okay, I did update it with my new blog. Okay, here's how you edit profile. There's the button. And these are the main things I do. I can change my profile photo, change my header photo, change that text, change my theme color, show when I'm live. I didn't have that option selected. Yeah, that's how you do it. Okay, I think that's enough for today, Cousin Russ. I don't know what our time is, but
it's 20:38.
All right. Didn't you love that quilt my sister-in-law made, Cousin Russ?
That was great.
I think it's pretty cool. Mr. Myrt, I cried, of course. I think it's so cool. Anyway, thank you for being here, everybody. Thank you for sharing. Nothing left to say, but on behalf of Cousin Russ, I'm Dear Myrtle, your friend in genealogy. Happy family tree climbing, everyone. That's a wrap.